Welcome back to the ABL review. I'm here with week 3 news, although I missed week 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick, just like 2 or 3 sentence thoughts on the week 2 games. So we got Logan versus Joel. What do I put for that? I think Joel could have played more aggressively with the Walking Wake, and Logan did a great job trapping the Raging Bolt. Maybe even could have trapped a little bit more with try to get the Torkoal a little bit earlier when he was like chilly receptioning out. Very hard matchup for Joel to kind of work around there. After that, we've got Mike versus Keenan, Mike 150. I think Mike played really well, really sound game plan in here, but Keenan clearly did not have a plan for Zapdos, and that's what led to Keenan losing that one. I think it's a mistake that a lot of new people make where some defensive Pokemon, they just kind of forget to have a way to deal with them. And that is also exemplified in this next match. We got Mitch versus Papcoon from last week, which I think Papcoon did play well. He had a lucky dodge. I can't remember what it was. I think he dodged an Icicle Crash that probably would have ended up, like that put him back in the game when he dodged that Icicle Crash. Mitch didn't really do anything wrong in this game, except he did not bring a single move to KO Alamalola. I'm gonna double. Let's pull that up again here real quick. Yeah, no Pokemon on this team except if Ninetales had Freeze Dry could have possibly KO'd Alamalola in a million years. So that's a problem. Definitely something he needed to work on there. But that's my review of last week's stuff. Just figured I should say something about the games that happened there. But let's hop into this week's battles. Bip, bop, boop. There we go. So, first here, we got the Texarkana Toxics and Papcoon taking on Keenan and the Pittsburgh Piplups. There we go. We had Pittsburgh Pikachus not too many seasons ago, so I'm going to make that mistake a couple of times. And then it's also thrown me that your name's Keenan, and this is George's. So I keep thinking your name's George. Anyways, not the point. It's something I gotta deal with. So let's hop into this game. It's got the Rotom Heat leading versus the Crocodile. I think clearly based on the way that like Papcoon's playing, like I was surprised he stayed in with this Will-O-Wisp here. Like I just think that's really aggressive. Maybe he calculated and knew we could live it, but man, dangerous, right? Again, we got hard out into Alamola. I mean, the burn's huge to get that so early on. Like, takes this Crocodile kind of out of contention. I like this set that he's got built here on Serena to be able to deal with this Latios. We see it immediately Terra Fairy, and that's how he's going to be dealing with it going forward. Very good. Really big damage on Whimsicott. Now, right here, I want to point something out, because we actually just talked about it when we were talking about last week's games. This and Latios are the only things on the team that can KO Alamalola. Like, realistically, those are the only things that are going to get through the Alamalola. And you have this Whimsicott very damaged already. Can't really do much damage back to this thing. Also can't prankster it because of Queenly Majesty. So this is not a great thing to have brought in. Unless he was, I guess, predicting like a U-turn or a knockoff or something. I don't know if Serena still gets knockoff. So then gets the Intimidate off with the Overquill. And then I think Keenan makes another bit of a mistake here. Not the Liquidation, that's fine. Totally understandable that you'd go for that. And the Stealth Rocks go up. All that makes sense. But I think that, especially, you can't see it on the replay, but there is a Toxic Spike up here. He could maybe clear it with the Bramble Gas, but the easiest way to get rid of a Toxic Spike is bring in a Poison type that is touching the ground, so Overquill. Overquill, I think, still has a lot of good utility in this matchup, and as long as that Glamora is there to set up Toxic Spikes, I'd probably want to keep it around to be able to soak up those spikes if you didn't have a better way to deal with it. Especially considering it's going to be really hard to break through Alamalola here. We actually see him go for another Swords Dance, get Flip turned on. Got very strong Overquill right now. If he had Aqua Jet, he's in great shape. But he doesn't. He gets overheated by this Scarf Rotom. So I guess it makes more sense why he was willing to stay in and go for that Will-O-Wisp turn 1 against Crocodile. But this also does reveal... I mean, I guess Papcoon probably already knew this at the time, but Keenan just learned that this is Scarf Rotom, and it is revealed there because it outsped the Overquill. So now Brambleghast is going to come in, pick it off with Shadow Sneak. Dragapult's going to come in. He's going to do some damage there. Kind of overly aggressive. I think Crocodile would have been the better play. I know it's burned, but I think it's going to force the Dragapult out and keep your Brambleghast at full health. You at least can pull an item off something with knockoff. Probably would have been what I had done, especially if Brambleghast is your only spinner. Which now we won't even know, because now those Toxic Spikes are up to stay. Granted, I guess it's only really going to affect the Whimsicott at this point. So maybe it doesn't matter. I guess I can move past that. But Whimsicott is going to be coming in on low HP here. And now it's poison. Oh yeah, see? And it does, so it affects the Whimsicott, because see how low it is? And now I think we see a Protect go up. And that Whimsicott's going to be nearly dead. And switch here. It didn't even have Giga Drain to be able to get any health back. So this is kind of my point. Alamalola is one of those Pokemon where you need to have a way to deal with it. It's just a Pokemon you need to definitely plan for. No way around it. I really don't think at this point there's much to really discuss. Because as long as, look, he was even able to take that. As long as Papcoon doesn't throw away that Alamalola, he's won this game. And even if he does throw away the Alamalola, I think he has too many tools that Keenan's not going to be able to break through at this point. He's just got so much more Pokemon equity, right? So finish it off with a Shadow Ball there. Papcoon gets his 3rd win of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So well done, Papcoon. After a couple of tough seasons, he's really coming back, and he's performing very strongly. Next, we have Mike taking on Logan. Two teams that have also been performing pretty well here. Logan, I think, was 2-0 coming into this game. 1-1 from Mike, even though I think he has been threatening to make changes to his team basically the whole season, but didn't pull the trigger on it until post-week 3. Let's hop into the game. We got Bostiff versus Honchkrow. Obviously not a matchup he wants to take. Logan being a little risky with the U-turn on the incoming Zapdos. We see a Volt Switch here from Raikou. Raikou I don't think has a bad matchup, especially considering there's no ground types, no Volt Absorbers here. Raikou kind of has free reign. I think in hindsight, Logan probably would have wanted to have a little bit more of an aggressive Raikou set. I think he ends up showing leftovers eventually, which I think he does need HP on Raikou, but it's like actually I think heavy duty boots might have even been better, but we'll talk about you'll see why later. Got Bastiodon coming in on a U-turn, able to get back up to that sturdy after leftovers. So something I'm surprised more people aren't scared of, because it's something I would have thought of. Bastiodon has sturdy. You can't kill this in one hit. And even Logan showed, I think in week 1 or 2, I guess it was in week 1, he showed Metal Burst on Bastiodon. It's a good trade to trade 99% of the HP on Bastiodon for a whole ass Tauros here. So I would have been I've been a little reticent here about attacking this Bastiodon. But Logan does just go for the Terra Water. Raging Bull not able to do a lot. Body Press does a pretty good amount in return. Zapdos is going to come in as the rocks go up. So I think Logan made good use of that turn here. Roost comes in on Zapdos. Really is going to need to get rid of the heavy duty boots on it, because it's going to make it much easier to deal with. But he is able to keep it low with that Thunderbolt from the Raikou. Also, we see the leftovers here. So right now we know that Raikou is the fastest thing on the field that isn't Scarf. I think, let me see here. We got the Raging Bolt, Hard Switch. Yeah. So based on the way he's playing it, this definitely could be a Scarf Raging Bolt. Something to remember later. A little bit of damage on the Gardevoir there. Luring Voice comes out. I'm surprised. I guess that's good damage to get off, but we're just going to eat a heavy slam, and the Gardevoir is going to go down. Ogerpon's going to come out, obviously going to force it out. Corviknight's going to come in, take that hit. Corviknight takes a lot from that knockoff, to be honest. U-turn thankfully doesn't pull a Flame Body there. Toxic comes out. I I mean, we saw it like Terra ground Haunter a couple weeks ago. I think it's still. Oh, but he already used Terra on Bastion, so never mind. I was thinking it might be a little bit more of a bold play than it was, but in hindsight, no. Now the rocks go up. Logan only has Corviknight to be able to clear the rocks. I think that's a big shortcoming of his team, especially when you switch a stakeout crunch, Corviknight in on a stakeout boosted crunch. That's a rough time. Bastion's going to come in, and he's probably just trying to maintain rocks here, right? Like, these rocks are going to get rapid spun away. He's going to, thought he was going to grab a body press for super effective damage, but this did turn into a fairy type. Also, this is something he should have calced beforehand. Heavy Slam is based on relative weight to each other. Bastiodon's pretty heavy, but also Colossal's pretty heavy. So this ends up not being a good move to go for here, because Colossal being probably heavier, I think this turns into like a 20 base power move. Coming from a Pokemon with not a lot of attack investment or good base attack. So ends up being a bad move there. Also still risking a potential Flame Body if he's running, although he's been running a lot of Flash Fire. Something you don't see as much. Then we're going to see the Stealth Rocks go back up. Good of him to get those up. That was very important. Raiku's going to come in. So I think that's the first time he's taken Stealth Rock damage. Took 12%. I'm just going to try to keep track of if Leftovers was better or if Heavy Duty Boots was better. Because at this point in the battle, like right there, he got 2 rounds of Leftovers back, and he took Stealth Rocks. So that's an equivalent amount of health, recovery, and damage. So we're just going to keep an eye out and see if Heavy Duty Boots versus Leftovers was the right call. 2 Raging Bulls oh no, it's not able to take it out. So this is still, I don't know if Logan ever calced the damage, but that's still looking to be potentially scarfed. Goes for another body press here, gets the para. I think it's right for him to go. Just keep going for body presses. It's the best way to maximize your damage in this scenario. Bastion is not super useful going forward. Got Raikou coming back out. Thunderbolt knocks the Zapdos down pretty low. I think he can still keep firing off Thunderbolts, keep this guy down. So this is the 3rd round of Leftovers recovery, right? Came in. Oh no, that was after the feint. Okay, so now he's back to neutral in terms of that. Okay, just still keeping track of the Leftovers Heavy Duty Boots debate. Iron Leaves come in. Iron Leaves, unfortunate here because I think Iron Leaves has a decent matchup most of the time. Like, takes on Paldean Tauros pretty well. It was faster than Gardevoir, faster than Colossal. Psycho Cut is going to do pretty good damage to Zapdos, but it is outsped by Ogerpon Wellspring. The potentially Scarf Paldean Tauros, like I said, it can work with, but we still haven't even seen an item on Mabostiff that could also be Scarfed potentially. Raiku's going to come in again. Gonna go for the Volt Switch here, pick up the KO. Now that time he doesn't get any Leftovers recovery, so he's gonna be down. He would need to stay in for another 4 turns to actually make that up, which I don't think happens because this Mabostiff is in an awesome position here. Honchko's gonna come in, take Heavy Duty Boots, or take Rocks damage. Kind of wish he had Heavy Duty Boots. Get paralyzed, and now so if this Raikou had been Heavy Duty Boots instead of Leftovers, he'd have how much more HP? Because he finishes, he gets recovered there. He'd have, I think, 18% more HP, which would put him like up in the 47. Yeah, 12% more from there. Yeah, which I don't think allows him to live that hit. Although, you know what? Just for fun, let's calc it, right? We're here. We got the time. Let's calc it and see. So that obviously outsped. So that was Scarf Mabostiff. Let's assume Adamant too. And against a Raikou, let's say Calm Mind, even though he's not. Okay, that was always killing. If he was Jolly, yeah, he would have had to have some defense. And I know for a fact, because I saw Logan build this team, he didn't like speed creep like I would have. I would have taken off this much to stay ahead of the Ogerpon Wellspring, which leaves an extra 40 something. Let's say he put the 44 here. No, that's not right. 38 plus the 4, so 42. Yeah, it's a roll. It's a super dirty roll. And it's also assuming that that was a Jolly Mabostiff. Oh, you can't see the whole screen, huh? But it's fine. You get the picture. Anyway, so I guess it didn't matter. But something to consider with such little hazard clearing options, I do think that Logan would have been better off with with heavy duty boots on more of his Pokemon than leftovers in this game, unless he was convinced he'd be able to keep the hazards away, which he was not. So now in this situation, Honchkrow, again, if Honchkrow had heavy duty boots, man, this thing would be, I think, at 100% health. I think it's only come in on rocks and you turned out. So that would actually make this endgame basically just come down to paralyses, because he could go for Brave Bird pretty safely here, get a KO, regardless of what happens, get a Moxie boost, so that even if the Intimidate happens, then he ends up being neutral. And then, I mean, I guess, I just had the calc open. Let's Control-Shift-T, bring that back. Mabostiff. This time we will assume Adamant. And we'll look at a Honchkrow with heavy duty boots, Adamant, because I think you actually can afford to be there. Neutral damage, yeah, 75% minimum to this Mabostiff. Let's say it had Player. Oh, but Player Off does 100%. Oh, but is that right? Even? Because is it taking into account Stakeout? No, it's not even. It just like. Wow. So, guess it didn't matter. He goes for a Sucker Punch here, which is 21 to 25. Let's see how that actually played out. He goes for a Sucker Punch, does 24, so that's in that range. He would have needed a crit Sucker Punch, and then he could have come out with it, but that is also, again, assuming that, oh, he wouldn't have even been a full, because in this scenario that I've created in my head, he would have been, yeah. Look, not the best situation for Logan to have been in there. I don't think he played badly. I think he made a couple of small mistakes. This is a game that if these two play again, which, oh, they will. Or will they? Let's take a look at the schedule. I don't know if these two have a rematch or not. Logan Mitch, Logan Joel, Logan Papko. No, that's the only time these two are going to play, unless playoffs. So, something I think Logan's going to have to reconsider should they play, or if and when they play again. If they play again, that's how that goes. Anyways, let's move. Oh no, I don't have the thing queued up, except through the magic of editing, I will. So hang on. Now it is time for our
marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
Seamless. So yeah, we've got this match, Mitch versus Joel. Got it. Whew, okay. Joel starts the J. Japan starts the J. He's Japan. He's got the Sun team. Land of the Rising Sun is Japan, right? That's the mnemonic we're going to use to remember the new people. And then Keenan's the other one, right? We only got two new people, so if we got a good mnemonic for one person, Keenan's the other one. Okay, let's hop into this game. But actually, you know what? Let's just say real quick. So this is I kind of spoke to this as a potential danger with Joel's team. See these six? Get used to seeing them. They're the squad, okay? They're going to be showing up most weeks. It's just his team construction. It's the best six to bring in most scenarios. I'm not going to fault him for it, but I do think it's going to give him some... he might be at a slight disadvantage because the less Pokemon people... Like, that means Mitch planned with, basically, I have 11 Pokemon to take on these 6 Pokemon. And I kind of think it comes across here. So let's hop into the game. Got Talonflame leading off against Torkoal. Obviously, Torkoal's going to be the lead most weeks. Goes for the Ancient Power to try to catch the Talonflame. Doesn't work out. Knocks off the Goldengo. Ton of damage off there. Raging Bolt's going to come in on the follow-up Ceaseless Edge. Start getting up those hazards. Bad news for Goldengo. Because it's going to be hard to find an opportunity for the Torkoal to clear. Oh man, this is rough here, because you see this Moonblast drop. So, I don't have a problem with the way he played this, like staying in on the Moonblast, because He obviously thought he'd live it, and you got this is a priority mon. There's no ground types. You can thunderclap most of the time, right? I don't have a problem with that. But it is very unfortunate that he got that Moonblast drop, because if he didn't get that 30% drop on Moonblast, then that means this Volt Switch KOs the Ninetales, taking away weather from the other side of the field. And Mitch does a very good job the rest of this battle protecting weather. That'll become apparent later. Rapid Spin there does get rid of the spikes that you can't see on the replay. I think at this point, he needs to probably try to prioritize getting up rocks, because there's no clearing on the other side of the team. Maybe Talonflame, but I think he should have tried to prioritize getting up rocks here, because you don't want Ninetales to be able to come back in. Goldengo's going to come in, block that Toxic, well done. Honestly, get off a very good amount of damage with this Make It Rain. I was surprised at how much that did. Dragalge is very good in terms of special defense. It brings in Great Tusk, which is a great pull for Joel. That's a Pokemon you want in right now, and it really kind of puts some pressure on. He makes a hard prediction trying to catch the Talonflame on the switch in. Unfortunately, doesn't pay off, as doesn't get the knockoff KO, or doesn't get the KO with knockoff, because now he's going to start losing HP from the Toxic there. Unfortunate, but still kind of worth it at the end of the day. We see the Alolan Ninetales come in. See, like, hadn't got that special defense boost, or sorry, if it hadn't gotten that special attack drop on the Raging Bolt, this Ninetales would be dead. We'd still have this attack boost on the Great Tusk, and he switches hard out into Hisui and Samurott, which he's just baiting out the move to get in Talonflame. Now, he lost a lot of HP on Hisui and Samurott, and then he lost a lot of HP on Talonflame, but he got the Pokemon he needed in safely. I think that was probably the best way to do it, and is able to pick up the Brave Bird KO. That was a Pokemon that really threatened Joel's team, and he was able to, or sorry, Mitch's team, and he was able to eliminate it properly. Yeah, and then we get this whole thing. So Torkoal comes in. This is the player, if not a big deal. I don't think that HP change makes a difference at all. Goes for the overheat. I think he probably, in hindsight, I think you'd like to see Lava Plume there. You're not going to be doing a lot of damage with Torkoal. I know it was a resisted hit, but the chance for a burn is also way bigger, way more, I think, impactful on the game, especially against this type of team. Ceaseless Edge is going to happen. I think he needed to predict that and go for a spin that turn. You just need to keep hazards off the field, because Goldengo's at 9%. Even one spike means Goldengo's dead. You needed to make sure he didn't get out of that situation with a spike. So he needed to spin on this turn that he went for Ancient Power. Because also, then he might, like, you just need to keep spinning. Make sure he can't do that, and eventually he'll actually outspeed and KO the Samurott. That's what he needed to do there. And you see that Spike's going to give him problems the rest of this game, even 2 layers of Spikes now. Raging Bolt's going to come in. Thunderclap gets the KO. Raging Bolt is not going to be able to switch out at any point, because he's not going to be able to recover enough HP to come back in. And that's why we needed to see this Torkoal spin. Knockoff gets a crit. Maybe mattered, maybe didn't. Hard to say for sure. But now we're going to see Weavile going for Triple Axle. Joel makes one last little mistake here that I do have to bring up. So, right here, you're locked into Triple Axle. This Beartick has a defense boost. You can't possibly beat this Beartick with Weavile. There's no chance in hell. The only way is if you have, like, if you're like banded, low kick, or maybe knockoff could do it. I don't know. But one thing I know for sure is that Triple Axle Weavile can't KO Beartick. So what you need to do is you need to hard switch out into Goldengo. That's what he should have done here. I don't know if it makes a difference long term. Like, you still go down to that. Like, I don't think a low kick KOs, but you had no chance of KOing with that way. I think you sack Goldengo, and then you go into Weavile, and you go for knockoff or low kick if you have it. I just think that's the right plays to do. A couple of small mistakes by Joel, still learning the format. Mitch, I think, did the right stuff here, did what he had to do. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about that. Let's hop over here to the Google Sheet. Take a look at next week. We've got Logan versus Keenan. What's Keenan's record at? I think does he have one win? No, yet to get a win. Logan trying to get back on the winning ways here. Mitch versus Mike. Mike made a big shakeup, so we'll look at that in a second here. And Joel versus Papkun. Papkun having a strong start to the season, really wants to continue it. Let's take a look at the changes that happened. So Pittsburgh Piplups did make a couple of changes. They dropped Oinkalone and Frostlass and picked up Dugong and Electivire. Oh, I need to change. This does not accurately reflect Terra's. I haven't bothered to do anything with that yet. So please disregard. So Electivire being here, I think is probably pretty good. He's got a lot of Gen 4 stuff going on here. Like Gen 4, Keenan, any chance? Yeah, so Electivire, I think we've seen in the past few seasons, does pretty well, especially with the Terra designation. I don't remember if he changed that to reflect it. I'm going to ask for Terrace again before I put this out, I guess. Maybe I'll put it out Saturday morning. I'm recording it Friday afternoon. Dugong, we saw used to, I'm not going to say great effect. It was used to effect last season. It came in and did everything you'd expect a 2-point Pokemon to do. So those are the two big changes there. Nothing like really to write home about, but obviously he was not a fan of what Oinkalone was bringing to the table. And Frostlass, I'm kind of low on Frostlass in League format personally. Unless you're using it just as like kind of a lead annoyance Pokemon, I don't think it has the offense to really get anything done. But it's just me. I think Electivire brings a lot more to the table. Also, we have Mike and the Washington War Turtles making a big shuffle. I spelled Cincino wrong here, but nobody cares. Everyone's going to be fine with it, right? So dropping Gardevoir, picking up Cincino. Oh, there's a problem. Wasn't trying to merge any cells, you jerk. Oh, is it? Can I not do that? Okay, I can do that. Fuck you. Dropping Gardevoir, picking up Cincino, dropping Ogerpon, I was going to say Wash, Wellspring, and picking up Primarina. Not dropping Sinistra, it dropped something else that I'll remember in a second here. Here. Oh my god. Dropped something else. Oh, Taurus Aqua. And pick up Noivern and drop Sandslash. Jesus Christ. I can spell. I'm like fluent in English. You wouldn't be able to tell, but... Okay, so quite a few changes there, right? How does that affect the team? Hard to say. I think that I talked about it at the beginning of the season. Taurus Aqua and Ogerpon Wellspring, I do think worked together because it just put a lot of pressures on the same checks. You're going to have like water-type Pokemon coming in to check Tauros, and those are going to get worn down for the same water-type Pokemon that are going to be trying to check Ogerpon Wellspring. I mean, I guess Grass-type Pokemon could also check them, but they can get broken down pretty easily. They break each other's checks, right? So he doesn't have as much of that, but he does add Primarina. Big fan of Primarina, right? He also takes out Gardevoir, which I do like Gardevoir, but I think maybe I was going to say he's a little bit lacking in special attack, but he did also just add Primarina. So I don't think it's as much of a problem. I feel like maybe this hurts his top-end speed a little bit, but he did also add Cincino, which is also more hazard clearing because he can run Tidy Up. Drops Sandslash, picks up Cobalion. Cobalion also has a little better top-end speed, also a hazard setter. Also, Steel type. Did he not have a Steel type before? Jeez, yeah, nice to get a Steel type, man. And still keeps a Fighting type. So, this team's very different because I feel like before it was really, I really do think it was centered around the Wellspring Tauros Aqua core, and I think it's really shaken up. I do think this kind of opens up the door for Mamoswine because I think you don't want to have, like, Mamoswine with those two I don't think adds a ton, maybe, just because you're going to go 3 strong physical attackers, and then you have 3 spots left to fill all the other roles on your team. That's tough. But I think this team is not looking bad. Like I said, Terra is not currently updated on here. I'll take care of that after I record. But thank you all for listening. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.